So if you guys are mega fans of the channel and you've already watched the Hot Ones video or like the Hot Ones interview that I did with Alex a while back, you will have already heard this story, but I felt like the story was a good one to just kind of at least upload on its own because it's kind of interesting. So here it is, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about with the Hot Ones video, I will put a link to that in the description. You guys can go watch that because it definitely has a lot more of these like story type videos or story type content in it, and it's a lot longer, so feel free to go watch that. But anyway, here we go. So this happened back in my sophomore year of college, and it's kind of funny because it was only Alex and I that were home for the weekend. Like, we lived with 5 dudes total, like including me. There were 5 of us, and 3 of them were gone for the weekend. Like, they were probably just back home or something like that. And it was really nice to just have the place to ourselves because those guys were kind of wild. They usually have like a bunch of friends over, be super loud, and they were very into drugs, like partying. They were big into the party scene, so they'd always have like paraphernalia, like bongs and stuff laying around, rigs to rip wax or whatever. But yeah, there'd always be like that type of stuff, and having them gone for the weekend, it was just cool to be able to chill like in our living room and not have like a bunch of bums or whatever, you know, chilling there, getting high and just like spacing out all day. Also, to give a little bit more context, we lived in a 2-story house with like a basement also that was furnished. So it was a pretty big place, and we had a lot of room, and I really liked that house. That was a cool house. After that, we moved to apartments, and definitely less space in the apartments. But anyways, just Alex and I home for the weekend. He has a really cool Impreza that since then he's put like a ton of money into, and has it looking pristine. That's, you can see him at car shows in the Chicago area from time to time. But yeah, we just ripped in that down to Dairy Queen. We got some DQ. I think I got the Moo Latte. Shout out the Moo Latte, caramel Moo Latte, of course. If you guys have not had that, definitely try one of those. That's probably one of my favorite things at Dairy Queen. That's real good. But yeah, we got that Dairy Queen, came home, watched a couple episodes of Band of Brothers on HBO. If you guys haven't seen that, that's a pretty good show. And then one of the funniest things about this story, I think, is that we went to sleep at like 10:30 or like 11. Like, we weren't even up late. It was just such a wholesome day, and just kind of like, you know, innocent, I guess. Anyway, I want to say around like 2-3 a.m. I heard a bunch of noise going on upstairs, and I kind of just laid in my bed for a while listening to the commotion upstairs. I really wasn't sure what was going on. I recognized the voices of the people, and definitely one of them was Alex, of course, because he was home. But it sounded like somebody was just struggling upstairs, because I lived in the basement, and then like right above me I could hear just like a bunch of commotion going on. And I just kind of laid there for a while because, you know, like 2-3 a.m. like I'm not really trying to get out of bed to go upstairs and see what's going on unless, you know, I really need to get out of bed. And after a while, like 15-20 minutes or whatever time amount it was, the commotion did not stop. So I was like, all right, I'll, you know, get out of bed and go check out what's going on, because I had no idea what was going on. It just sounded like weird. I don't know why anybody would like be going crazy like this. So I went upstairs and could not believe my eyes. Passed out, kind of like writhing around on the floor, was one of our roommates, like the roommates that were gone, one of their friends. And, you know, we were like kind of friends with him, I guess, but they were definitely like closer to the other roommates. But he was just struggling on the floor, like he was battling some demons. He definitely was going through something. And standing above him were Alex, my roommate, and then some other people who had come over to kind of like assess the situation. Some of like the dude who was on the floor's friends. I think it might have actually only been one of his friends or 2 of his friends max. There were only like a handful of us there. And I definitely showed up latest to this, so I was just kind of like out of the loop, you know. Like, I just woke up and came upstairs. I was like, yo, what's going on? And Alex and the guy's friend kind of like filled me in on it. And I guess Alex just got this phone call from the guy who was kind of like passed out, like dying on our floor, and he was just like super messed up from a party. He took a bunch of pills and drank a bunch of alcohol, and I'm not exactly sure what pills they were. It was probably like Xanax or something like that. I know those guys were big into that. But this dude was just there like dying on the floor. And we were really trying to help him out, but just when somebody's in that state, they can't really be helped. Like, they just need medical attention. Like, he was not doing well. So after a while, we kind of came to the agreement that we couldn't really help him out at all, and he was definitely in some sort of danger to himself because of the condition he got in. So I think his friend that was there was the one who actually called 911, and they asked for an ambulance or whatever because he had taken drugs, you know. They let him know that and everything, and they're like, all right, yeah, we'll like send somebody over or whatever. Fast forward like 10-15 minutes, there's probably, I don't know, 5 squad cars outside our door, a couple paramedics, like squad cars, like 2 ambulances, I think. I don't think they brought a fire truck, which that definitely would have been overkill. Not saying this wasn't overkill, but yeah, there's probably like around a total of 10 like police, like emergency type vehicles with their lights flashing. I want to say this was like 3 a.m., but we answered the door and Alex is like, damn, you guys really sent the full force, huh? And the cop or paramedic was just like, yeah, you know, it's like 3 a.m., there's nothing to do, so we all showed up. So first off, the paramedics came in, obviously, and like I said, there was just like way more people there than needed to be. So like a couple cops came in too to help. They eventually grabbed him, like everybody grabbed a limb or something. I think they carried him out. I don't think they put him on a stretcher or anything. He was still able to move and stuff. He wasn't like passed out or anything, but just not cooperative. Anyway, it didn't take them too long to get him out of the apartment and into the ambulance. But then after that, the cops kind of stuck around and talked to us a little bit, you know. The paramedics too, like they wanted to get some information, you know, what kind of stuff had he taken, what had he been up to, how long ago had he taken it, things like that, which I had no idea. I didn't know anything about that really, because I just like kind of shown up and I was like, yeah, you guys should probably like call the paramedics. But at this point also, since there were so many cops, they just kind of like didn't have anything to do because there were way more people there than could even like fit around the dude to carry him out. So there were kind of some cops just like walking around, like looking around at the apartment, and they weren't like, you know, grabbing stuff and like flipping lights or anything on, but this all happened right in our doorway. Like the dude just like was sprawled out in our doorway, and that's kind of where they carried him out. But right next to the doorway was this dining area, which was where a lot of the paraphernalia was kept, and it definitely was not hidden at all. Like it was just sitting out on the dining table, and the cops are kind of like walking around at it, shining their flashlights on it and inspecting it, like looking at the there's like a bunch of wax or like dabs just laying around everywhere. But if you guys don't know, they really try to encourage people to not hesitate when people get themselves in situations like this, like when it's life or death, when somebody actually needs help. If you call, they won't get in trouble. Like they're not gonna get like an underage, you're not gonna get like fined or anything for being drunk yourself or like having drugs yourself. They're just there to help. And so the cops looked around, but you know, they weren't able to like write a ticket or anything. But it's definitely uncomfortable to be in the room with like 3 cops while they walked around with flashlights, like scoping out all the drugs and paraphernalia and stuff. After all that was over, Alex and I sat down and talked. It really didn't take too long for the whole thing to kind of like wrap itself up. Like once the dude got carried out, cops chilled and talked for a little bit, and then they just dipped out. Anyway, that's the story of how somebody overdosed and then just came to our apartment to be taken care of. And it's kind of funny because we were just having such an innocent night, and then it just took such a wild turn, especially since it was only Alex and I who were home, who do not participate in any of the illegal activities that the cops were observing, and like none of it was ours. We don't do anything like that. So it was just funny that the one weekend where everybody who does that, everybody who owns that stuff was gone. It was just like Alex not chilling, and then like that all goes down, cops all over up in there. But yeah, it turned out fine though. Everybody was all right. We never got in any trouble. The cops never came back. We did ask our roommates to kind of, you know, like chill on that stuff. But yeah, if you guys enjoy the videos like these, kind of these like story time videos, definitely show some love so I know that you guys want more of these. And if not, still show love, you know, feel free. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.